management. He is also promoting startups ecosystem through his regular blogs also. Many books and book chapters are to his credit. Professor Singh is also the founder, managing editor of refereed, peer-blind reviewed index journal, SMS Journal of Entrepreneurship and Innovation, published by the School of Management Sciences, Varanasi. Professor Singh is also on the advisory board of several Indian and foreign journals. He is also a reviewer of some reputed index journals like Scopus Index Journal, the Journal of Contemporary Eastern Asia. Sir has been a PhD examiner of various reputed universities like Mohanlal Sukhadia University, Udaipur, Sarvepalli Radhakrishnan University, to name a few. He has supervised over 1,000 project reports, dissertation reports, summer internship reports. Apart from this, he has supervised over 500 business plans. He has been invited as chief guest, guest of honor, keynote speaker, visiting faculty, resource person by various countries like USA, England, Nepal, Hungary, Vietnam, Bhutan, Bangladesh, Philippines, and throughout India to share his vast knowledge on entrepreneurship, innovation, and startups in various international conferences, seminars, webinars, workshops, FDPs, MDPs, EDPs, and panel discussions. Professor Singh is also a professional consultant and helped various industries to get established from the scratch. He is running MSME clinic on behalf of Center for Entrepreneurship, Innovation and Skill Development of SMS, Varanasi, to provide free of cost consultancy to the ailing industry of the region. Presently, he is working for the promotion of startup culture among the students of management and technical stream through the Startup Incubation Fellow Program of CEISG SMS Varanasi. So till date, Professor Singh has produced over 100 startups. He is regularly doing projects in the field of entrepreneurship awareness among the students, especially the rural background, to promote the grassroots innovation. He is involved in the creation of the national startups ecosystem through the triple helix model and 3P bottom line approach. Sir has been honored by various awards and accolades like Best Academician, Entrepreneurship Award, Best Innovative Academician Award, Distinguished Teacher Award, Best Chairman Award, Distinguished PR Professional Award, Kashi Gaurav Award, Best Case Study Award for turnaround of family business by various regional and national level academic, professional, and social organizations. He is also a member of various professional and social associations like Chairman of Public Relations Society of India, Institute of Global Professionals, Secretary of Varanasi Management Association, National Institute for Technical Training and Skill Development, Small Industries Association, Eastern UP Exporters Association, PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry, MSME and Startup Forum UP. Besides all this, Professor Singh has carved a niche for himself in various universities in India as well as abroad. He is an authority on entrepreneurship, innovation, and startups. So he is here to make us aware about the lean startup and minimum viable product or business. Sir, we are thankful to you for accepting our invitation at such a short notice. Once again, we welcome you, sir. Please enrich us with your deliberations. Over to you, sir. Please.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for providing me this great opportunity. This is the second time the college has invited me. So I would like to express my gratitude first to the principal of the institution, Professor Navjot Kaur Madam, Professor Taranjit Rao Madam, who is also the coordinator of Innovation Cell, and who is the person behind connecting me with your great college. I was very glad to know about the very golden legacy of your college, and I'm proud to get associated with. I would like to thank to the entire organizing team of IIC of Sri Guru Gobind Singh College, Chandigarh, for organizing such a great event and inviting me over here. Today's topic is lean startup and minimum viable product business. Before going to that, I would like to have a brief exposure of what actual the startup ecosystem in India is prevailing to the students so that they can understand the fundamentals and then we move ahead. First, we should know that why we need a startup, why so much focus is on the startup in the country, especially after 2014 when the this new government, Modi government has formed and focus was shifted to the startups that now the country should focus on the startup. As you all know, India is having a vast population, more than 130 35
ये
crore.
इसने हमें भी बताया यार मेरे को डिस्टर्ब कर दिया इसने पूरा ही रखी अपनी तरह
Anshita, please mute yourself. Mute yourself.
Okay.
इसका तेरे को किसने बताया चलो कर दिया बोला मैं
This will be it's a natural thing. Please mute your mic. That will be better for all of us. So, in the country like India, where we are having more than 130 35 crore population, and 60% of our population is a young population, which we call population dividend, which is around 60% of the population below the 40 years of age. For this population, the most difficult task today is to get the job. And basic reason is we are more a job seeker than a job provider. I know everybody cannot be a job provider. It's very difficult for everyone because entrepreneurship is a mindset. But you must know that every entrepreneurs are the economic growth driver. Even if you are having a startup, you are giving employment to 20 people. You are not just giving employment to 20 people, rather you are giving employment to the 20 families. 20 families are based on you. For a balanced regional development, this is very important. Otherwise, what will happen? Just 2 years back, you have seen during the lockdown, when the lockdown was declared, people have started coming back from the big cities to their small towns and villages just for the sake of getting food. They have spent 10 years, 15 years time, but they were not having the money for 2 to 3 months. Reason is that from beginning, our entire development model was based on certain islands of development. Islands of development means cities like Mumbai, Hyderabad, Pune, Gurgaon, these big cities, Delhi, and rest population, 70 to 80% population lives in either the villages or a very small towns where these people will go. So this is very important and see every city is having a certain limit. Beyond that limit, they cannot afford the incoming of people from the different other regions. So what will happen? There will be a social conflict, unbalanced regional growth, concentration of wealth in few hands. So as a entrepreneur, as a startup, you generate that wealth. This helps in the export process also. I know Jalandhar is a trade center for export of so many sports products and other products. 50% of the export is being done by the micro, small, and medium enterprises. They earn foreign exchange for the nation, which is very important for the balance of payment. Likewise, this gives a platform where everybody grows. The human resource development takes place, proper natural resource management takes place, proper value creation takes place. Even the technological development took place. We are at the age of Industry 4.0. This is the fourth industrial revolution, where digitization, making the business smart becomes inevitable, innovation becomes inevitable. And in this situation, what is going to happen? First thing we should understand that in spite of having so much efforts on the startups, you will be surprised to know that within 5 years, the 90% startups get failed. And when it comes to 10 years, only 1 or 2% startup gets success. Reason is that we are making a product or service, but we are not providing solution. Remember, as a customer, we all buy a solution, not just product or service. So if you are a startup, your innovation is not inclined to give solution to the society, to the human being, to the industry, or to the environment, it's of no use. And second issue is that we don't do much research before going for the startup, whether it is feasible in the market or not. We don't make a proper business plan. We don't do a proper feasibility analysis. Just we are having some idea, we get some money and we start the business. Innovation, we lacks. On the innovation front also, although I would like to say one thing, that there is a report which was generated every year by the World Bank that is called Ease of Doing Business Index. From last 2 years, it has not been released because of the pressure of the China. In 2014, out of 190 country, our position was 143. So you can understand how bad our position was. And last report, which came in 2020, the India position has improved from 143 to 62. So we improved a lot so far as the ease of doing business is concerned. But still 61 countries, 62 countries are ahead of us. This is a great matter of concern for us because country like India, it should be at least in top 10 countries of the world. But yes, we are moving ahead. We are improving. It's good. Our direction is good. But on innovation front, I would like to say one thing. That Global Innovation Index, just 5 years back, our position was 114 out of 131 countries. Last year, in 2021, it was improved to 46. So again, it's a great improvement. But 45 countries are still ahead of us. This is not my concern. Concern is that we are moving in the right direction. It's okay. However slow we are, but we are moving in the right direction. Concern is that out of 100 patents, because patent on the basis of the patent filing, the Global Innovation Index is being decided majorly. Out of 100 patents which are being filed every year, for example, less than 1% patent is being really converted into a feasible, viable product and comes in the market. So rest 99 patents are just on paper. Reason is the same. These startups, although they file a patent, but if it is not going to solve the problem of any person, any society, any industry, environment, who is going to purchase your patent? So this is what the scenario is. Before going for a lean startup, just try to understand the startup. Normally, we interchangeably use the word startup and entrepreneur and business. So business is a simple trading task which people do. Entrepreneurs are those people, they were the businessman, but they looked for a long-term future. They diversified their products accordingly with an innovation. Suppose you are having a shop of sweet, you are a businessman. But when you start a chain of your shops and you are having a 25 retail chain of your shops in a country and which is being connected with so many new innovations and you adopt new customer relationship management policies and adopt new softwares and do all the innovative things, you become an entrepreneur. Startups are those people who are starting their venture with an innovative feature, something new, something different, which has not been there earlier. Because if you are having the same kind of thing, why the people will buy your product? So these startups are basically the young company that can be founded by one person, two-person, or more than two-person, and they basically focus on the customers, the society, as I told you, some industry, some environment, with their innovative product and services. Remember, only product should not be innovative, your services should also be innovative because service innovation is a very important part. Product can be easily copied, but copying a service is a very difficult task. And they get their initial funding by the bootstrapping, which you call, means the founder's own fund or the crowdfunding, because you collect the funds from some of your friends, relatives, family members, etc. So these are general concept I have explained you about the startup. But now come to the lean startup. This is the main topic today. Normally, what happens? The term is very clear, lean. There is a term entrepreneur and there is another term intrapreneur. Many of you may think that I don't have money, how can we start my own business? Whether I am having any possibility for my application of the ideas, my venturesome ideas, I'm having that kind of entrepreneur zeal. Yes, you can. This term is called the intrapreneur or the corporate entrepreneur. Normally, companies are looking for those people who can start a business within their business through a startup mindset with an innovative way to look into it. The companies are ready to fund that project and they want to see whether how you are moving in that way. Recently, you may have heard that Ratan Tata is venturing in so many startups. Majority of them are the lean startups. So this is basically a method which is being used to found a new company which has to be introduced on behalf of the existing company. And this is not a new phenomenon, it's an old phenomenon. This term has been given new. I will give you one case study you can understand. You must have heard about the Shoppers Stop. Shoppers Stop was basically belongs to the Raheja Group companies. They are basically in the construction industry. And I did my MBA from BHU. One of my senior, very senior, he was around 10 years senior to me, Mr. B. Nagesh. After passing out from BHU, after doing his MBA, at that time, uh, there was no so much scope about the job. So he just approached them and given an idea. They were having one of the shopping complex, but it was empty because of high cost. So he has given the idea that why don't you put all the FMCG products in one place? And that was the case of Bangalore. And people don't have much of time to move from one place to another place. So they can just come and stop at one place and they can purchase all the needs, whatever they want, kind of products or services, whatever they are having. Although initially the Rajas were not ready for that, but later on they get agreed upon because they were already incurring losses on the interest and all these things. And this is the way the shopper stop was started. Nowadays, you people are going in the multiplexes, big shopping complexes, shopping malls. Now it's not a new phenomenon for you, but at that time, just you can remember 40, 50, 45 years back, this was altogether a new phenomenon. So same concept is there. They are not the entrepreneurs, they are the entrepreneurs. So you can just Google the name of the B Nagesh. He was the earliest chairman of the Shoppers Stop, now retired. So this is the way the lean startup method works. So what did advocate? Advocate that you should develop a product which has already been demonstrated by the consumer and desire is there. So desire of the market you have to understand. As I've told you, you just don't give a product or service, you actually give a solution. So these lean startup, what they do, they use the validated learning. Means whatever learning you are getting from the market, you get it validated. Whether the whatever the learning is there, it is going to happen in a successful way or not. And it goes on market research. So these startups, basically, as the name suggests, they first internationally, if you see the first experiment of this kind was done by the G. You may have heard the name, General Electric. They redefine the product development process and they produce such kind of products. They make small companies like that by using their own people. So basically, this gives rise to first innovation. Second, the desire of your employees who are having a lot of potential to become an entrepreneur, but they don't have money. So money is being sponsored by the company, parent company, and the things are being done by the charter. So this is the fundamental concept of the lean startup. Now, the second part is the minimum viable product to business, which we short call MVP. See, these products must have the enough features to attract early adopter customer. Because see, we are the customers, but many of us, especially the young people like you are the early adopter. In my age, we normally hesitate whether we should purchase this or not, buy this or not, we should upload this app or not. But our children, they convince us you should do this. And people like me in my age, whatever our children say, we follow blindly. We are having we are having a faith on our younger generation because they are more tech savvy than us. So the minimum viable product has to be made in such a way that people should adopt it immediately. The very classic example is the Amazon, Flipkart. You people are on the Facebook. Now I'm seeing youngsters are more on the this Instagram than the Facebook, adopting all sort of things, newer and newer things, and telling us also. My son has motivated me to open an account on Instagram to put my photographs, and now I'm really enjoying that. So these kind of work has to be developed where there is a need. You can understand the urge. On the Facebook, it's wider. But youngsters like you, they are more fond of putting their photographs, taking the selfies, and different small videos. And this Instagram has given you the platform for that. So these kind of product or services is a part of the minimum model. So what are the three features? Why we say minimum? This is the most rudimentary, bare bones foundation of the solution possible. And as I've told you, the solutions are basically the psychographic solutions. Selfie is what? If nobody is ready to take my picture, I will take my own picture and I will see how I am looking. But how people should also see my picture? Best way is to put on the Instagram or Facebook, or there are so many other platforms also. So it should not be complicated. First thing, simple. So that's why it should be viable. It should be sufficient enough for early adopter, Now you see how the revolution took place. When the Play Store was started, everything is available on the apps. See, for any business model, the environment is important. 15, 20 years back, when we are not having that much of a smartphone, do you think these e-commerce platforms got success? No, because the basic reason behind the success of these e-commerce model are three C: choice, convenience, and cost. You go to Flipkart, you go to Amazon because you are having choice. In your city, Jalandhar, or in my city, Banaras, we are having limited shops. We are having limited choice. But on these platforms, you are having unlimited choice. Convenience. Here I am talking about the use of the smartphone. Earlier days, we have to go to open your laptop and see the thing. Now, a smartphone is there. You just open that app, order it. It's okay. Within 2 days or 3 days, the product will be delivered at your doorstep. And the cost. Since the middleman is not there, obviously the cost of product will be lower to you. And not only that, your shopping cost also decreases. So these makes you viable. This ecosystem has made you viable. And third one is the product. When I am saying product, it includes the services also. Because now the tangibility definition has changed. Earlier, anything is tangible only when you can touch and feel. But if you are having a very fast service, you can feel that also. So to have a minimum viable product, first thing which is very important is that your product should be crappy, which nobody wanted earlier. So it is coming for the first time. This is the innovation. And viable, financially viable, commercially viable, technologically viable, human resource wise viable. Because as I've given an example of this ecosystem, the technological ecosystem, you are having a smartphone. This is what this is the technological viability of the product. So good product with a minimum cost to make you benefit from certain problems, giving some solutions. This is important. Suppose here what should be the approach? Suppose you buy a bike, or girls normally buy a scooty, even boys also buy a scooty. So what earlier approach was, suppose we take four features or the attributes. One is that it should have a brilliant design. Its look should be good enough. There should be a usability. There should be a reliability. And there should be a functionality. Functionality means so how on average is being given and what is the cost and all these things. Earlier, we just focus on the functionality part. That what is the average? What is the cost? That's all. But now, especially the young generation like yours, you take care of everything. It should have an excellent, brilliant design. Look should be excellent. It should be easy to use, means usability should be proper. Its reliability should be there. Whatever they are claiming, you should have that kind of thing. And obviously the functionality. So in a minimum viable product approach, you have to take care of all these attributes instead of just focusing on one attribute. So you have to be having a very comprehensive approach towards that. So how will you plan for that? Suppose you have to make a minimum viable product. How will you plan for that? First, as I've told you, you have to identify and understand the business need. For business need, obviously, You are doing business, but business is done for those people who are your consumer, your customers. So try to be a keen observer. Try to see what is going on in the society. It is not that earlier to the Ola and Uber taxi services were not there, but they have put a platform again on that 3C model. Now you are having a choice. You can pick your own choice. You can see the cost. You don't have to bargain. You can see it. The first time the taxi will come to your doorstep. Earlier you have to take a taxi from a travel agency, and after 10 p.m. the travel agency closed. You have to go to at 11 a.m. to pick up a train. You are facing a difficulty. So, keen observer going in the society, what problem? Just being on a social media is not going to give you solution. You have to be in the society. Social media is good for networking and other things. But when you are in society, you are a keen observer, you are feeling the same kind of thing, then these kind of successful model will emerge. So first, find out that, identify that issue, and determine the long term the product. And you have to continuously design the things accordingly. I will give one example of the Oyo rooms. Oyo room is successful because it's a world largest chain. They came to understand two things. That if you go for a tourism purpose or some professional purpose, the only major time you stay in the hotel is the night time. You stay in the night. So you want a comfortable sleep. For comfortable sleep, you need a air conditioned room on an affordable cost, and that room should be better than your bedroom. It's okay for you. And second thing, what they observe that normally when we went outside, we don't have a fixed time for our lunch. So they started giving a complimentary breakfast. So you can take a heavy breakfast and you can take lunch at 2, 3, or 4 whenever you get free. So these two were the needs. And they just tie up with the different properties given their franchisee and have them through their app to locate these hotels. And now you are seeing the success. So question which should be in the mind by designing the minimum viable product is that why we are doing this product. And you map out the journey of a customer. You have to understand the journey of a customer, what kind of problems they are facing. I will take one example of the government also. You don't think that government doesn't do anything. IRCTC. If you ask parents, then they will tell you. They must be my age group. You have to stand in long queues for the tickets. I remember when I was doing my MBA, this is a case of 1988, and my summer internship was in Mumbai. So from Varanasi to Mumbai, we have to take a reservation by standing a long queue for 5 hours. And then when we reached to Victoria Terminal, at that time it was called Victoria Terminal, VT, now it is called Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminal. Since we have to come back after 2 months, season, all the Mumbai trains are full of people. So we again stand in the queue and took a return reservation. This was the situation. So if one understands this journey, you people are booking your tickets on the reservation, doing reservation on the IRCTC. Again, this 3C model helps you. You are having a choice of train, choice of berth, choice of timing. Your cost is also being saved. These are calculated your cost of one complete day and the convenience. So you have to understand the user journey and who the users are, and then decide what features you have to build. So whenever such situation, you ask four questions from your side. That what the problem of customer is, number one. Number two, what problem your product is giving solution for. And third, which is very important, the part of the commerce viability, that whether your customer is ready to pay for your solution or not. And above all, fourth, whether your customer is going to have a repeat buy for your product and recommend others or not. See, gone are the days of the satisfaction. Now, people want delightment. If you expect anything, it is not being given to you, you are dissatisfied. If you expect something and the things are being delivered to you, you are dissatisfied. You are satisfied. So if it is not as per your expectation, you are dissatisfied. If it is as per your expectation, you are satisfied. But if the things are being delivered more than what you expect, then you are delighted. And a delighted customer is a loyal customer. So now companies are working to gain your loyalty. Because when you are loyal, then obviously you will recommend it to others also. And remember that a delighted customer is the best brand ambassador. Delighted customer are the best brand ambassadors. So when you design your product, minimum viable product or your minimum viable business, how will you validate it? First thing is that you prioritize your hypothesis. That okay, my this product is going to solve this problem of the customer or not. Prioritize your target customer. Define the success criteria on the basis of the profitability of your venture, visibility of the venture, the customer satisfaction and the delightment. And then you just market by making a small prototype. Market will respond to you accordingly. If they need some changes, you please change it. This is called the test marketing. Don't launch it on a very high scale. See, my startups, and now I'm telling to you also, for getting success to being a startup and to not come in that club of 95%, rather come in the club of 5%, 10%. Think big, start small, grow gradually, grow global. This is a 4-point formula. Think big, but start small. You know the Amazon and Flipkart started by selling an online books only. They just started, Flipkart started by 4 lakh rupees at that time. So think big, start small, grow gradually, abruptly, because this will maximize your risk. See, risk is inevitable, but you have to take a calculated risk and grow global. The entire world is a market for you. So just move one by one. Because like your minimum viable product, your minimum viable business also you to collect the maximum amount of validated learning from the customer. Because I will give you one example of Toyota. So one of the best example of the minimum viable business. They are the person who the entire management has decided to take the feedback about their product from the person who are working on the floor area, whether it's a production floor or shopping floor. You'll be surprised to know that they got 126 ideas for improvement. And Toyota became the world's first company who adopted 90% of the suggestions. So their critics started criticizing. You're such a big name and you adopted around 112 suggestions. Means you are having that much of flaw in your product. So they said no. These 112 improvisation what we did is not the flaw, it was a scope for improvisation. That's a positive answer. So these kind of minimum viable business basically work on the collective learning. Everybody is having some learning. And this business model, you involve these learnings and you work on a broader way. In the minimum viable business, what do? You do a key partnership with everyone, investors, your trading venues, your data providers, your customers, your platform providers. Everybody is contributing. Everybody is contributing. And what are their key activities and resources? You keep on looking at these models. I have given one model of triple C. What should be the change strategy? What should be the way of research and development? Whether you are protecting your product, your brand through the IP and intellectual property right, your patents, your trademarks, your copyrights, your GI. Likewise, what is your distribution network? What value proposition you are adding in the market to your customer services, to your customer relationship management? What kind of customer segments you are focusing? How much focus you are giving on the sales process? How you are increasing your immune system? So you have to answer few questions, keeping in view of all this. But what is our business fundamentally? What to maximize its revenue? Minimum investment, maximum revenue. Can we change our process and use new technology for the cost effect one thing and scalability another thing? Because for any startup, scalability is the biggest challenge. When you scale up the things, you face the challenge. And what impact will all these measures on our workforce and how we will manage our workforce? And how we can mitigate and manage the inevitable cost. Two terms are being used: blue ocean strategy and red ocean strategy. Red ocean strategy means when there is a lot of competition in market, lot of cutthroat competition in market, and margin is getting marginalized. So there is a way that do some innovation, great innovation, and create a new market, niche market. You will call it blue ocean strategy. You will have no competition. So your thought process for think lean to develop the ideas, have a learning, develop the ideas, build the product, measure it, and see the response in the market, what learning you are getting out of that. Likewise, three phases are there. You find a business idea, execute a business idea, and validate your business idea from
Which
time to
industry
time.
usually in startup?
Because innovation is something. I will take questions. Don't worry, I will just take questions. You please put up your question in the chat box. I will take your question. You have to keep on validating your business idea because innovation is a dynamic process, not a static process. So on every idea, you have to create it, you have to test it, you have to scale it, and time to time you have to renew it because all the innovations are being controlled by the demand and supply. So when the demand pattern changes, the supply has to be made accordingly. You all may be enjoying the OTT platform, and products like Netflix has started getting success because mindset is changing, time is changing, technology is changing, and in entire aspect, your design innovation process takes place in the lean startups and in business. See, in any minimum viable business, three things are important. First is whatever their product is, it should be technologically feasible, their business should be viable, and there should be a usability and desirability of the human values. And for that, you go for a design thinking process, as I've told you in the beginning. First stage is to emphasize, then to define, then to ideate and make a prototype, test in the market, and implement it. So these are the 6 steps through which you move your product, through which you keep on updating your product, and through which you keep on getting success. And in the end, I would like to say that whenever you move for a minimum viable business, your business plan should be perfect. Without making a business plan that what should be its way of marketing, what should be its financial management, what should be its operational management, what should be the IT implications, HR dimensions. Without doing this, if you move, then it is very difficult to get success. So, looking to the paucity of time, I have just given you a brief outline of all these things. And I would like to invite the questions. I would like to answer the question of the students. I would be happy for that. And thank you very much for having a patience listening. So please tell me what are the questions so that I can answer them. Thank you.
So all of you are invited to ask questions. Sir, students have written their questions in this box.
So please tell me, madam, because I am unable to see that.
Okay, sir. Okay. So first question is, which industry use lean startup?
Every industry. Every industry use the lean startup. Lean startup is a concept. You should understand, as I've told you, that if any industry needs to grow, they need innovation. And it is not expected from the owners only that they should think of the innovation. But the responsibility which is being shifted to the people who are working with them, and they promote it, they fund it. But you must have that entrepreneurial mindset, those who are interested in that part.
Okay, so next question is lean startup specific for B2B or B2C?
As I've told you earlier, this is not confined to any sector. It can happen anywhere. It can happen in the manufacturing industry also, it can happen in the service industry also. I've given you the example of Supper Stop, that was a retail industry. At that time, you was thinking of the organized retail chain, but Shopper Stop has started, and this 40 years back. Anywhere it can be done. Any other? Madam, is there any question? Please type in the chat box.
Hello.
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 If someone want to directly ask question, you can also ask.
Hello. Hello,
Yes.
sir. Sir, there is some problem in our college network. There is certain network issue. Am I audible now?
You're audible. You're audible.
Yes. Yes, students, any other question, please? Anji, students, do you have any other question or maybe wind up the session? Hello. Okay. So thank you so much for such a wonderful session. Now, for the formal vote of thanks, I invite Mrs. Meena Jindal to propose a formal vote of thanks. Please, over to you, Meena.
Thank you, Karanjeet. Thank you, sir. My walk greetings to all of you. This is my proud privilege to extend a formal vote of thanks on behalf of management, principal, and innovation cell of Shri Guru Gobind Singh College, Chandigarh, I expressed my heartfelt thanks to the eminent speaker of the day, Professor Kumar Singh, who is a professor and HOD of Department of Commerce, SMS Varanasi. Sir, I am incredibly grateful to you for accepting our invitation, which has materialized in today's webinar. I truly appreciate your willingness and spacing your valuable time to enrich the lives of innovators with your knowledge on lean startup and minimum value viable products in business. Please accept our sincere appreciation for the outstanding presentation with lots of specific and helpful information. I appreciate your insight and we look forward more deliberation in the future also. My sincere thanks is are due to the management principal and faculty of our college for their generous support. I would like to formally recognize and thanks to each member of the innovation cell. Special thanks to all participants for showing their interest in the webinar. Thank you all for the patience. Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable time. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam. Thank you very much for inviting me. And I would be very happy to come again and again. And I'm ready to help any startup which is coming from your college for their incubation and for their advice. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.